He's got half of the manager on the left and Dellz the engineer on his right. He popped up in a mainstream game through a cosign by Mikado but continues to make moves and traction outside the cosign. He's also easily one of the few guys who sounds crazy international without trying too much. Alright, let's jump right in. This is the story of Frank Casino. For most, Frank is the guy with a different voice that throws in woe in his ad-libs once or twice in his records. But he's deeper than that. Let's get into it. He broke through around 2016 after dropping the whole thing, and then in 2017 the remix with Riky Rick and literally got the block hot. Go back a little and you would have heard records like Sauce and Just Before the Riches. 2 songs with major traction on SoundCloud before most of us messed with him. Go back a little more and you hear records like Dead Bodies, Road to Riches, The Why Now Freestyle, Broke Vanity, and Fade Away. Okay, so now that we all know he deserves his spot in the game, let's talk about his early life. Frank Casino's real name is Nhlanhla Shabalala. He was born and raised in Tembisa in the east of Johannesburg. Growing up, he used to listen to artists like Nas, Snoop, and Jay-Z, just to name a few. These artists influenced him into getting into the game at a young age, and he started writing. In an interview with his producer Dellz spoke of how they grew up listening to raps and how he started off on FL quite early thinking it's just a video game. This happened after exchanging some PC games with a schoolmate. This curiosity by his engineer brought about an opportunity to really do this, even though they had no idea what was to come. Dellz and Frank created the first song together around age 9 and 10. Crazy. We asked them if they still had the record, but unfortunately it got lost in the mail back in the early 2000s. Let's get into his early life. So Frank's been pushing the raps thing for quite a while now. He was part of a group in grade 7 consisting of 3 members. Him, Dellz, and Savio. Together the Oaks dropped a gem called Pimp Holidays. Crazy. In grade 8, Frank got into another group, called Narrogates. They continued to move as a movement consisting of 5 crew members at the time. Fast forward a little and Frank decides to join another group. They called themselves Crunk Era. They hustled and went in so hard that an independent record label, Vusi, decided to sign them. The deal pinned them down for 5 years. Frank and the boys managed to work with the likes of Mr. Swelvin and TXL during their time at the label. While still at it with the team, the Papas decided to change their name and call themselves Blackprint. Frank and Dellz and the team also decided to start up Dapper Gang Records. This would be their new home for more hit records to come. So let's get into how he popped nationally. So Frank Casino went to school with Pretty Ugly. They created a couple of records together and they've known each other since the boy was about 13. So let's be honest, the rap stars have been aligning since then. So Frank got a record with Pretty and Riky first heard of him through Pretty's record. Riky really liked his son and asked for his number through Pretty. Frank heard Riky was enjoying his style, but Frank, being the laid-back individual he is, he took no mind to it. Frank continued to work and Riky continued to watch his moves. Riky decided to pick up the phone to call Frank for a meetup, but Frank was busy helping moms out with daily errands. Frank couldn't make it and Riky suggested to pull up a bit later in the night. Riky kept Frank waiting deep in the night, but eventually pulled up. They had a conversation about life as a whole and the music game all round in SA, a bros bonding moment. This bonding moment became arguably the most memorable moment for Frank and Riky. It made it possible for us to get the remix for whole thing. Crazy. So Riky asked Frank to play him some joints. Frank played the original for Riky and Riky asked to hop on for the remix. Frank said, let's do it. The record was rapped pretty quick and the two had a hit record. The song gained popularity in the mainstream airways and radio loved it. It was different, and Frank was different. Riky came through with the swag on the track and you could feel his energy. To be frank, Casino isn't really the loudest person out here, but this collaboration somewhat boosted up his energy not to just rap but to be a performing artist. While the record is gaining traction on the airways, the song was doing the rounds in the clubs too. Early players came from the likes of DJ Spitza and DJ Capital. A video was a must, so they made it happen. Frank already had a video out for the original, so this would be a mad boost for the record. At this time, Riky was signed to Mambala Noise, a Durban-based record label. The video for the remix dropped, it was tickets. The song felt different. You see, Ricky's basically the guy you go to for remixes. He does after all have the hottest hip-hop remix of all time in SA. Siggy Pig, Foreign Mom. Okay, enough about Riky and Kid X. So the song did mad numbers and it just didn't stop charting. The song got so big that they ended up winning Best Remix that year at the SA Hip Hop Awards. That same year in 2017, Frank went to do another big record, Mayo. Speedster called him up on a random day and said, "Yo, I got something for you and we're shooting a music video next week." Frank was down. Speedster sent through the record with just only the hook on it. Frank loved the joint from get-go and quickly laced. The record also had Young Swiss, Shane and Tell a Man, a recipe for success. So when that dropped, it was tickets times 2. Crazy. The record did the charts and numbers and reached gold status and 1 million plays on YouTube in no time. Frank was the new thing. Fast forward a little and Frank does Bandit with MT and Gemini Major, another one. The boy had everyone's attention. Fast forward a little again and Castle Lite decided to wheel him in. They wanted an anthem for Castle Lite. So Frank was called upon. Frank was doing the rounds, so they scooped him up for a couple shows with him. The relationship started growing in leaps and bounds. Okay, let's talk about the anthem. So the task was to create an anthem, so Frank had to dig deep. He called upon his engineer Dellz. Dellz makes music, by the way, and he had a couple of songs in the archives. Dellz pulled up the original record for Money Calling, and they felt like it could be the one. So they did what anyone would do. They put all their energy into revamping it. Frank took the canvas that Dellz had lying around and started writing some raps. It was 80% there. To make it 100%, they wheeled in a popular producer. I keep telling you about this kid, he's crazy with it. His name is Breezy the Savage. Breezy pulled up to the joints and switched up the hats and beefed up the 808s Wonder Girl style. The beat was at 100%, but the song wasn't. Nadia had just joined the Castle Lite team, so she hopped on. Frank and Dellz had a session with her. Apparently Nadia stepped in and asked to hear the original with just Dellz and she loved it. They kept the template and she wrote her raps. Apparently she wanted it so perfect that she finished the verse but insisted on coming back again to make a verse harder. Crazy. She came back and wrapped it up and that was that. Castle Lite had a brand new anthem. The interesting thing about this song though is how Frank and Dellz and Nadia gelled together so well. Who would have thought? Fast forward a little and Castle Lite decided to incorporate the song and the music video in the commercial for the next 6 months. A sharp move. The song wasn't just an anthem, it shows. Castle Lite made it a song, a video that played on music video channels, but also advertising the brand at the same time. It was also on normal TV, like your SABC, you'd see the record during normal broadcasting as just an ad. Genius. This opportunity to feature in a nationwide commercial opened up a lot for Frank. So how did ASAP Ferg link up with Frank? Okay, so ASAP Ferg was in the country for Capsule, a huge hip-hop event in SA. Apparently he was a Speedy and he asked Speedster to play him some hot ish from the country. Oh, also, thank God he didn't jam since up 18. We love you PH, but come on Spidey. Anyway, ASAP Ferg picked him up through that session while he was in the country for Capsule and said, "Yo, let's do a record together." Again, as he did when he heard Riky wanted to link, he took it lightly. Ferg DM'd him and said, "Bro, send me something." Now we all know bigger rappers do this all the time and 80% of them never send back their verses even after asking to be put on a record. So I think Frank thought, he's just saying, like all the other rappers, but that wasn't the case. Ferg sent back his verse and Dellz engineered cleanly, boys. Many said Ferg's verse had no sense of finesse, but many said the same thing about his verse on King with Nasty C's record, but later became huge fans of the record. I think the same thing happened here. The verse is a sleeper, but a video would have made it even greater. Either way, the joint bangs. So Frank, give us the videos, bro. Come on. Okay, so let's fast forward for the last time. Frank is hot on the block, so he decided to drop a brand new EP in 2018. He dropped Come Alive as the first single off the record. The EP wasn't easy for him to do though. The deadlines were getting closer and closer, the boys were slightly behind schedule. They even ended up having to send through placeholders for the drop and had to quickly wrap it up. They did so, and it was ready to drop. Come Alive was already doing the rounds and many loved it. The beat was from a popular YouTube producer, Riky Got It. Frank picked up the beat and bought it from Riky. In fact, the beat is still up there under Whoa by Riky Got It peer type beat. Many assume that he stole the beat, but that's quite far from the truth. He bought it. Riky even shouts him out often on Twitter for making such a huge song on the beat. So for the rest of the EP drops, and now there's controversy again. The one single that's got everyone's attention was Sudden. Sudden featured Cass and everyone was going on about Cass's verse. We all know he murders the verses. A couple of rap fans had a problem with it though. They accused Frank of stealing the record from popular 4 Pockets Full rapper Lil Baby. Lil Baby had a record at the time with Moneybagg called All of a Sudden. The high frequency and usage of similar bells in the melody convinced many that it was stolen. To put it in context, Frank's producer Dellz makes all types of music, but wasn't even aware of the record when he made the beat. You reached out to him and he assured the Haven team that it wasn't a bite. He even went as far as to say that the melodies aren't even the same. To be honest, if you really listen, they aren't. But let me know what you think after listening in the comment section. Not to get technical, but if you really listen to Princess KB's brand new song called Guguletu, in the beginning, maybe they stole Dellz's beat. But anyways, let's not talk house music. The only question now is about the name. Why was it called Sudden? So you remember earlier when we spoke of the EP and how they were late for the submission? Yep, let's go back to that. But let's talk about Frank. Frank was aware of the Lil Baby record and felt like Dellz's beat had a similar vibe, so he went for a similar pocket and also borrowed a single line from Lil Baby. I ain't rapping for free, you gotta give me the budget. Something like that. Look, the way I see it, Frank was aware of the similarities but took a strategic decision to name it Sudden. The name wasn't even the final name Frank wanted for the record, but it ended up working itself out. He recycled literally one line but also did it in plain sight by naming it Sudden even though that wasn't the plan. Look, at the end of the day, we're almost a year after the record and we're still talking about it. For me, that's a win for Frank and the team. The EP was called Heroes of Tomorrow and man, it bangs. To be frank, it would have been really dope to see a bigger push from Frank and his team. Yeah, sure, it's a small team. And also to add, Frank once said on the Jimmy Choo remix with the big hash that real music really sells itself. But it's 2019 and it's time for him to create a bigger audience and leave the country ASAP. Get it? Leave the country ASAP. Go shoot the video with ASAP Ferg. Okay. Anyway, the boy is talented. And for someone who started off driving an Opel Kadett and working for a career company as a delivery boy, Frank really continues to make strides in the game. He's currently working on his brand new album, which has been out for the last 2 years or so. All the best, Frank. You're king, bro. Okay, that's that, and that's all I got. Thank you for watching. Please hit the sub button for more content and let me know who you want to see next in the comment section. Honcho SA on IG and DJ Honcho SA on Twitter. I'm out.